Hey, we're here. My name's Daniel. I'll kind of like quickly introduce myself and then pass it off to Lauren. But yeah, my name's Daniel. I operate LA in Common. We're a community of creatives and entrepreneurs, building things for people. That's really our defining characteristic. And this is essentially a community that helps people connect with other people working for themselves, as well as events that hold people accountable to actually getting stuff done. And so we have Lauren here. Would love to hear just what you're about. Introduce yourself. Tell people about what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. My name's Lauren. I am the founder and owner of Two Rooms, which is an artist community in Los Angeles. It's one room for music, one room for friendship. So we started 2 years ago as a monthly concert series, independently run and operated, and now we've expanded to community events. So we do like jam nights and girls' nights and educational events and stuff like that. And at the heart of it is just a place for artists to feel safe in LA, to have mutual respect and have a lot of kindness for each other. It's something that doesn't really exist in LA music at this point on a large scale. So hoping to make it kind of the hub where it starts, and then hopefully it'll ripple out and hopefully change the way music in Los Angeles is treated and run and how we interact with each other.
Love it. And have you been scheming on this for like since the age of 5?
Oh yeah, all the
What
time.
what kind of led to this moment of you doing? Yeah. What like?
Always scheming. I think so. Like Daniel, I grew up in the Silicon Valley, which is a very interesting place to grow up. I think it was a lot of, tech and, go to college and
Oh wait, fun fact. Nobody knows. We actually went to the same high school, but like really never talked, right?
we did. It was funny. Yeah, so our friendship, real friendship origin story is that someone I hired to work a two-room show, I want to say it was like the second ever,
Mm.
brought Daniel as a plus one, and then Daniel was at the show looking at like, I know that. I think I went to high school with her, and then we started talking and realized we're on the same like entrepreneurship journey, and like, yeah, that's been like the real. But yeah, we went to the same high school. Very similar upbringings, very similar, like, need to be professional, need to make a ton of money, like, this is the only path. No
Mm.
creative, risky stuff, like, even though you would think, like, Silicon Valley is, like, the home of innovation or whatever, fail fast, whatever, it's not
Yeah.
exactly how you're brought up as a kid in that environment. So yeah, I, like, always grew up loving music, and I played piano growing up and was in musicals and sang a lot, and I decided to go to college for a Bachelor of Music, and I studied classical voice while I was there, and I realized like I am not built for the artist life. Like I don't have the drive in me to put my face on billboards and like be practicing 8 hours a day, like I don't have whatever that is, but I do love throwing events and supporting artists. So like even in college, like
Mm.
putting my friends' side projects on a stage, doing like benefit concerts, like all this kind of stuff. And yeah, and I realized like as I did a few industry jobs and I worked in artist management and talent buying and nonprofits, I just realized the best thing I loved about it was that like I got to help out artists and I got to walk with them in their journey. And yeah, just realizing like art is so important and there's so many other people other than artists that it takes to make an artist's career come alive, even like emotional support and stuff like that. Like, and I just like loved the music that my friends were putting out. And so I was like, yeah, like you need help doing an album release show? Sure. Like you need help like figuring out this distribution platform? Sure. And
Mm.
so yeah, through that journey, kind of, let's see, I moved to LA 8 years ago. I was working in Asian American music spaces, a lot of advocacy and media representation kind of stuff. And I think that like through that, I found a lot of great friends, learned a lot about, what kind of talent is out there, what their journey is, especially early in their career and doing artist development. And yeah, and then I started an event series with a group called Tractivist, and I started that series in January of 2020. Great time to start an in-person live event. So we did like two shows and then had to shut down. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, through that, like through the pandemic, I just realized like I had a day job, like a normal, unrelated to music day job, and I was like, I think this is probably okay. And then like just yeah, full breakdown, just like I can't, my life can't exist without music, and it can't exist without
Mm.
doing events and bringing people together. And like I think something that I love the most about live music in particular is like it's this beautiful moment that like is art embodied and the importance of art embodied, which is just like there's an artist who gets to stand on stage and say like, here are my hopes, my fears, my dreams, and you have this whole audience of people like singing back at them like, yeah, us too. And you have this like beautiful moment of connection, and it was something that I missed a lot during the pandemic. I also like wanted to right a lot of wrongs that I had seen working in music, and so I was like, okay, let me see if I can put on a concert series that is ethical, is run by kindness, is run by a woman. I'm mixed, white passing, but like a woman of color, and just see where that goes, because I've never seen that before. And so it's been 2 years of testing, a lot of scheming, so there's been a lot of that. Never stops. And yeah, it's been amazing. Like, it's been really cool to see the way people respond to it, the way that it kind of moves through different other like cliques in LA of music groups. Like, you know, there's just discovering new networks and new friends, and yeah, it's been awesome. So yeah, a lot of scheming though. There's almost nonstop scheming. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of answered it, or at least alluded to this, but what keeps you in this, and like what keeps you going?
Oof. I think honestly it's stubbornness. Like, I think I've just always like I want to believe that it can work so bad that I'm yeah, I guess part of it is being motivated by the haters, and like I just want to if this can work, like that's so cool. Like, let's do everything like this, you know? And yeah, it takes a little creativity with like business models and stuff, because I think the way that corporations have kind of eaten up the music industry, it's hard to be a smaller business and try to find some kind of niche in it, and like carve out a way that you can do things or scale things or whatever. Yeah, I think the thing that keeps me going is just like after 2.5 years, I've created this little community of people who like love each other and support each other, who didn't know each other 2 years ago. It's taken on a life outside of me. It's like people work together now because of Two Rooms, which was always my dream.
Yeah.
Like, people go on tour together, people have made songs together, like people work together, like and it's just like, I think
You've got a full-blown community.
yeah, which is like crazy, because that's what I wanted to do, and now it's happened, and I don't know how I got from point A to point B, but we're here now. And yeah, I think like it's like, one, if I were to stop, all of this would stop. And like, it's not enough now that like it's not grown enough to the point where it can be self-sufficient yet. And like I want to keep going to these events just as a person. Like Two Rooms is the only show where I've really felt like safe and cared for, even though it's like my show, and like obviously I would feel more at home there than other people. But yeah, people talk to each other. Like, I tell people to go make a friend, and they do. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know why they would do that, but
Just kind of happens, which is insane in LA, honestly. Like, what you've
know.
created, people can just find friends.
Yeah, it's in any circumstance, like music, parties, whatever. Like, it's tough for people to make friends, and yeah, I think that it just needs to exist. And so I don't know, I've done it, and now I'm locked in. So we're in it.
Can't get out now.
Can't get out now. It's too late. My face. I'm working on my SEO now. I really can't get the digital footprint has made its mark.
Yeah, there's no way you can scrub that. For people watching, we have a member, Maya, that's a part of LA in Common. She's an SEO consultant. And she ran a office hours event where she basically like answered all our questions, and that's what Lauren's referring to.
Yeah, I've always assumed my SEO would be really low for like most of my life, because my name is Lauren Lee, and Lauren is the 9th most common name of the year that I was born, and Lee is Lee. I don't know, so it's like yeah.
You lucked out with that one,
did.
the Chinese and the Koreans.
I know,
I think the Vietnamese people
and
use
some
it
white
too,
folks
right?
Too, you know, like it's.
And so white folks, you got really lucky.
Yeah, I know. So like, now is the time. I'm buckling down on my SEO. People will be able to find me. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. What keeps you going? What's like because I think we do a lot of similar work as far as like building community, and I see like you're kind of in that position too, where you're at the center of something, and like if you stop making events, we might get together. I might hit up some people and be like, hey, like, haven't seen you in a while, let's get dinner. But I couldn't do things at the same scale. Do you feel like you've made something that is now like, do you see the community you're building? Because I see it, but like from your perspective.
I haven't really taken much time to think about it. I think what you said, and kind of loosely defining more or less like what a successful community is, like, are people making async connections? Are people functioning without you being there? I think it helps to have someone like yourself who's a part of the community we're building, to actually like give people an excuse to go outside of LA in Common, because I think that That's really powerful. Do I think the friendships will last? I think we've seen that in the last 2 years where people will go to co-working sessions. So there's two types of relationships that I'm really proud of seeing. One, people will go to our events and then find some of their closest friends. So several people have joined LA in common kind of for that reason. And then two, like this is mostly due to our speed dating events, but we had several couples come out of those too.
Hell
So
yeah.
I don't know if that's like, I haven't unpacked that psychology of like, why do I enjoy seeing that? I hope it's not sinister or like weird or
No,
dysfunctional,
I
but
mean it's a form of
it's
community,
fun,
right?
right?
That's the
Yeah,
old school way before the apps. That's how we met people was through literally meeting them in real life. So,
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
It's fun.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of what motivates me. Does it motivate me to the point of like, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing? Not quite. I mean, I probably have a more clinical answer. I don't know if it's because I've just turned 30, but I have more maybe confidence or assurance that there's a short list of things that I'm comfortable with and familiar with as far as like competencies or skills. Like I think bringing people together and understanding what makes people happy, I think that's something that I've wanted to flex in a tangible way. And so building community and throwing events and connecting people, I think is one of the most pure extensions of this ability to understand what people want and improving their lives through connections and environments. Maybe I have a more emotional answer. I think I probably gave it off the cuff.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's
yeah,
community. It is more of life is emotional than I think we give get credit for.
yeah.
Like money is emotional, business is emotional, like the relationship you have with your boss is emotional. Like even, like we do this is technically our work, right? But it's stuff that's at the core of what we believe and how we want the world to function. It's very emotional. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. It's community. It should be. Like it should fill your heart with like warmth and like, concern for the people that you're you know, catering to and like you're building community with. Yeah, it's great. Approved.
Thanks.
Lauren Lee seal of approval.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something that kind of came to mind that I feel like we could kind of riff on is the state of community in LA. And I don't even want to caveat because I kind of just want to like unhinge, just like see what you think. But like thoughts on like the state of community in LA, because what
Yeah.
you're creating is profound and people are finding friends and making real connections. But I think you and I both talked about like that's not necessarily the standard in LA.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a conversation we had like a year and a half ago where you were talking about how like friendship as an events focus, like literally not like, well, this person is accomplishing something, let's go celebrate them or anything. Just finding friends is a whole event type and like kind of a business, like in terms of like what we do and like doing events and doing speed dating, things like that, or even like girls' night. It's like finding friends is this huge need in LA. Like, because I think after the
Mm,
pandemic, honestly, I think people lost a lot of social skills, like myself included. And two
mm,
rooms was like a real, here's a true story. As I was starting two rooms, I realized that meeting people and learning how to talk to people again was going to be a huge part of my skill set. And
mm,
after the pandemic, I was like, oh my God, I don't know how to make friends anymore. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
mm,
And like truly I like went on Hinge and I like went on a whole bunch of first dates and I was also single at the time, it was fine, but it was like, just trying to figure out like just practicing like initial conversations and like being curious about
mm,
people and like, like and going into those dates mindfully, kind of with an ulterior motive of like let me practice the
mm,
skill of like talking to someone one on one, learning what they're about,
mm,
and it was important. Like it was, I thought of it as so like strange,
mm.
but it felt like cross training, honestly. Like that is like let me like conditioning.
It's like your social skills had atrophied and you're
Yeah,
like now
exactly.
trying to build them
And
back
it's
up.
like, and now that I'm doing two room stuff, I was doing it every month, and so it was like I got really good at it really fast because it was just like
Flexing a little too much. You're
I
like you're like the bodybuilder of building community.
I know. So it was like I think that it's just like this strange thing where it's like I see myself in the skills that I've built over like because I do two rooms and because I talk to people all the time. I think I have gotten really good at chatting with people, not being afraid of social situations. But it's truly because I was just practicing. And then there are other people who don't have
Mm,
that chance. Like we have a lot more solopreneurs than we've ever had. a lot more work from home jobs. LA is just wide, and so getting the timing, like if you go have lunch with someone for an hour, you're not out for an hour. You're getting ready because it's LA, and you can't just show up, like you have to look somewhat presentable. You have to drive. Sometimes it's half an hour, sometimes it's an hour. Like if you really like need to meet someone across town, there's driving back, there's traffic, there's the money you spend. Like it's hard to like go out and like hang out with your friends and just have all these conversations. And so
Right.
it's no wonder that like our social skills have kind of atrophied or our friendships have grown stale, or like the pandemic made a lot of us look at our lives and evaluate our relationships. And so a lot of people like it reevaluated their friendships with the people they had in their life, and now they're trying to rebuild, but they don't know where to start because we're adults and we haven't made friends in a long time. We haven't had college was a long time ago for some of us. And yeah, so it's like it's no wonder that friendship is something that needs to happen in LA, and something also that people are just genuinely bad at right now. It might just be that way until everyone decides that it's not that way. But yeah, and so I think like something that I've learned a lot from you as far as like when I'm building community, like having opportunity or excuses for people to talk to each other, or just like some secondary thing to do while you're meeting each other. Like I'm doing a girls' night next week that has like we're doing like flower arranging, and like the girls' night before we did
Incredible.
friendship bracelets. Like it's something like dumb, and like it doesn't take a lot of brain power, it's creative, and so you're just chit-chatting with people and you're laughing about how you're getting it wrong or whatever, and it's just like
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff we need. That's like
That's
we
awesome.
as a city we need to learn how to get better at like making friends, doing these things, like.
Yeah.
But it's understandably hard, and as an event and community organizer it's equally as hard to like it's hard to make friends with one person, but it's also hard to have a room full of people become friends with each other. Like, because that's our
Yeah.
job. Yeah, it's something that I think a lot of people in LA are starting to get really good at, which I'm excited about. But it's also like it's very tough, and I think for me at least it was understanding like, okay, how have I met friends in the past? I go to networking events and it's at some bar, and it's with a whole bunch of people who are industry people and like need to meet the most important person in the room. That's not me. And so as soon as they know that that's not me, their attention is shifting already. Like I can see them
The
looking over my
shifty
shoulder.
eyes.
Yeah, and I'm like, I hate
I
that.
hate that.
Yeah, everyone hates that. Like, why can't we just like talk
You
to each
see it.
other? You know?
Yeah.
But so I'm like, okay, how do we rework that room? And like some people need that room because there are real like, I don't know, people are still doing events that way, and the people we need to meet are in those rooms. But why not like do something different where people actually make friendships? And like at least for my industry, like I love the idea of networking laterally. So like meeting people that
Yeah.
are on your level, not trying to meet the big kahuna in the room, but like trying to meet people who are doing the same things you're doing, because you eventually like all come up together, or you learn from each other, like because you're in a similar stage in your career. And yeah, so I don't know, I think about that a lot, where I'm like, we need to do friendship a little differently, learn from each other, So yeah, I rambled a little bit, but yeah.
No, it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
so we kind of call this the coffee shop effect. When we think about walking to a crowded coffee shop, it's most likely people that all have something in common, whether they're working on something or they want to socialize. But for a number of reasons, and I understand why, it would be weird and insane for like a stranger to be like, hey, do you want to grab coffee to somebody that's like sitting there, even though you probably have something in common. But what I think you're getting at, what you're making a reality in your events, is you are giving people permission and an excuse to like tap people on the shoulder and be like, hey, it's actually not weird. We're all here for the same reason, so we can actually talk, which I think is great. But I also think it's a weird dynamic between like coffee shop versus a girls' night or whatever set event that you're throwing.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like when you agree to go to an event like that, it's kind of meeting in the middle. Because I think like Two Rooms has now got a reputation for like people meet each other at Two Rooms events. So when you go, you kind of know that you have to be a little bit open to it. And then I open the rest of the way, that it's like, okay, go talk to someone. Like it's like church. I'm like, look to your left, look to your right. Do you not know someone? Go talk to that person. So yeah, it is strange. It is strange that it's like we can do that in one sphere but not the other. But yeah, I don't know. I assume in Europe people can do it. I don't know, but not in LA. You could
in Europe.
you could
Not
never
LA.
tap someone on the shoulder in a coffee shop in LA and be like, "Hey, let's be
You get a
friends."
really dirty look,
Yeah.
especially if you're like a dude talking.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I'm so aware of that. I'm like, no, no, no,
Oh
no.
my God. I would give someone the biggest stank face. I'd just be like, "Why? Absolutely
Why are you
not,
talking?
creep." Yet on my free time, I'm like, "Yeah, go meet people." Yeah, it's dumb.
It's super interesting.
Yeah.
We could probably unpack that at some point.
Yeah. It's a whole other
This
podcast.
is kind of a abrupt pivot, but you've been doing a lot of work on the social side.
Mm.
Like I've seen an insane amount of growth and engagement, and you really investing in that part of Two Rooms. Can you kind of talk about that and like what that's been and look like?
Yeah, I think I had a point in which I was spending a lot on Instagram ads, and I was just like, oh, there's got to be a better way, or I realized that marketing was such an important part of growing Two Rooms. I needed some amount of like knowledge of Two Rooms, like in the wider Los Angeles area and in music in particular. And so I just realized like, hey, listen, like social media is free advertising. And while it is a terrible beast of algorithms and lack of engagement, I think it's like someone was telling me it's like 3% or less organic reach to your followers as soon as you post. Like it's awful, but it's I realized more and more as I was meeting people that Instagram accounts for me were a resume for folks. It was very much like, who is this person? Who do they know that I know? What is their aesthetic like? Who are their friends? Like, what what do they talk about? You know? And so I realized like one, it's free advertising. Two, this is a very value-based organization, and I need to make sure that everyone knows those values off the bat. And it's helped foster the community that we have inside the events as well, because people have seen they know Two Rooms because they saw me on Instagram, and then because they saw me on Instagram they saw me talking about how we pay all of our artists and I book, you know, safe people, and we value women, we're pretty left leaning, you know, like I am a leftist and all the things that that encompasses. And so that's this space that I'm cultivating, but I can't unless they've been to an event, they don't know that. So seeing my social media is like being at an event and seeing, you know, what is this like? Who are the people that are there? And I mean, honestly, like whenever you go to a party or any social gathering, the first question is like, who's going? Like, who are the type of people who are going? And I think it has become more important that I be very visible and be like, here's what I'm cultivating, here's what I expect, here are the people I'm booking, you know. So it's I think that that has just become really important. And so I don't know. I think the social media in general, there's no right answer. They change the algorithm all the time. There's no like, if you post 3 times, blah, blah. I've heard all of it. Like, I've done so much research on it. I've heard all of it. I think the main thing that I'm getting away with is like consistency and just like
Mm,
putting an amount of effort into it. I think I can get away with the formula I have now, but it just changes all the time. And it's
mm,
a combination of like doing that and doing social media and in-person stuff and building friendships and doing I have like a
mm.
fan club thing. Like it's a whole myriad of things, but social media is a really important part of the piece. Really
Yeah,
important part of the puzzle. And unfortunately, yeah, it is what it is. But I have found out that I love editing, so that's been really interesting. Something that people normally hate,
nice.
but I do love actually doing it. Something about my brain loves social media. But yeah, what are your
Yeah,
feelings about social media at this point? Because you've kind of changed up your approach a few times. Like you're also trying all the different types of content and all this kind of stuff too.
yeah. There's a part of
Yeah.
me that I think it's disenchanting because I think we know how much of a game it is, but I think once you figure it out and get into a good flow, like I think that's the prescription that I've made for myself is like just get into a flow of like what you're comfortable with and what feels authentic to me and the brand. Yeah, so I really like what you said about making sure people know what you're about. Because the thought that kind of came to my mind was you may be posting the 100th time about how Two Rooms is, you know, female led and all this, but it may be the first time that someone new discovers
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I've had some kind of like mini epiphanies myself where I'll post something that I didn't think was that relevant or didn't get that great of engagement in my opinion. But people reference it in social conversations
Yeah.
and like, I saw that. And I'm like, when they say that, I'm like, wow, they actually like that actually stuck with them. And yeah, I think this is an encouragement for anyone, yeah, for the people watching. I think one video really can change someone's perception about your brand, and that should be a motivation to keep posting. I think if I frame it as, oh, it's going to reach hundreds or thousands, like it's not going to. It may. I think both of us have had videos that have reached, you had a video that reached like a couple million people,
I
which is
did,
insane.
and it's totally unrelated to two rooms. It's really annoying, but
But like
yeah,
people,
people
yeah,
respond to
like
it.
you may not
Yeah.
have the, yeah, for sure. So it's a necessary part of the game. I think a lot more people actually get caught up in what I call like marketing hell, where they're like trying a bunch of different things and they don't have like a method to their madness. And they end up just giving up because it's like, well, I've tried all the things that people are telling me to do. But to your point, like the consistency piece, and that in my mind is like the perfect foundation for testing and what. So I guess it's just validating what you're saying and being like, yeah,
Yeah.
big underscore.
Yeah, I think honestly, like no one has it figured out. If they tell you they have it all figured out, they are lying to you. It's just everyone's just doing their best, like life. So, yeah.
Speaking of which, I was reading the other day that Instagram is taking more of a TikTok approach these days where like anyone can go viral in the sense of your posts and algorithm are no longer really based on your follower count. I
Oh,
have to look this up and do more research, but it's based on like how attention grabbing not attention grabbing in and of itself, but like how engaging is your content in and of itself for it to
yeah.
even reach new audiences. And so that's something I'll want to research a little bit more before like getting fully behind that. But I do think it's interesting that platforms potentially might move away from like follower count and whatever your clout is,
Hmm.
because I've seen huge accounts that get very terrible engagement,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that baffles me. But
It's so strange.
also,
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of just a necessary evil of marketing at this point, where it's like I think the thing that I keep trying to focus on so that I don't focus on how frustrated I am with it all the time is just like it's free
yeah,
functionally. Like it's free advertising, which we didn't have if we were doing this like 20 years ago, we would not have had the same tools at our disposal. Just kind of have to deal with it.
what did we even have back then? Zynga,
Yeah,
MySpace,
email, I don't know,
email,
flyers. I'd be flyering all over
blog.
LA if I were doing what I'm doing now, which I should still probably do, but yeah, who knows?
Very different world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else to kind of run through that comes to mind?
Let's see. Yeah, I think I have a question for you, which I can also answer. But like, what are some, how do I put this? What are some obstacles that you face when you're building your community? Like hitch it like logistical or trying to get like the schedule right or organizing the right events. Like you'd mentioned like you're trying to make sure that
Hmm.
people are cared for and like what do they want and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
have you seen any obstacles with that you're working on?
Mm,
This may be a
so
vulnerable question, but
yeah, no, and this is honestly what came to mind. I have a business background, and all the startup books that I read in college degree, like a lot of it was geared on what do people want and what do people say they want or act, how do they speak with their time, energy, and resources, kind of measuring that. And that was a good like foundation for business acumen and understanding what people want and the consumer needs. But what it kind of distracted me from in terms of obstacles is I just got caught spinning my wheels. I didn't give myself enough space for what I wanted.
mm,
And I think there's a certain type of business, especially the businesses that we're in, if I'm working on something that people care about but I don't care about or I don't have as much of an attachment to, I'm going to burn out a lot quicker. Yeah, I'll use examples like the speed dating stuff was clearly a big need for people in LA to just go out and meet people in real life.
mm,
At the end of the day, like I didn't go to bed thinking, like I really want to be a matchmaker or someone that like helps people find love. I'm not opposed to that, but I think that's why we honestly stopped them is like they were making great money. They were generating a lot of revenue. People were meeting each other. It's great. So I think that's the biggest obstacle is like reconciling what I want and who I am, knowing that I'm not like this. I'm not as complex as I, think I am. Like other people probably want what I want. I just have to find those people. And so
yeah,
just reconciling those two it took me years to just stop spinning my wheels on that.
yeah. I feel like I came from the opposite direction and I'm now finding my way because I just started two rooms because we've talked about this. I just started two rooms because I wanted it to exist and I didn't think
Mm,
about there were the issues that I wanted to fix about the music industry. That I thought that other people agreed on or like were like, yeah, like this cause is really important. But understanding like the other things that will bring someone to the table. Like I think a big lesson I've learned in this is like it's really hard to sell music for music's sake. Like if a friend comes to you, even me as a music person, I have to listen to music because it's my job and listen to new music. If someone comes to me and is like, "Here's a new album by this artist. It's really good." And I don't know the artist, I don't know what the music is, I'm not going to listen to that album. Just on the fact that it's good, I'm not going to listen to that. But having some other narrative around like I didn't listen to like Beyonce's latest album until a friend was like, "Oh, it's all country music and it's this big statement because of this other thing." Like having kind of some story wrapped around it is what sells it. And so like I had this realization that like just because I want to fix the music industry, maybe people don't have enough, they're just starting out in their career, they don't understand all the things that are going on in the music industry. They just want to like hang out with some friends or like whatever. They're coming from all these different places and like generally they'll agree like, yeah, let's not exploit each other. That's not like fun. That's not going to bring them to a fun concert, you know, like so understanding
Right.
like what are some other things that artists need? We need a place to hang out. We need friends to work with. We need to know that the people we meet are trustworthy, you know, things like that. Like all these other things. We love food, you know, I always feed my artists, you know, like so it's stuff like that where I'm and like honestly the community events were a big part of that where I was like I had a collaborator fall through in July of last year who was going to book the show for me because it was a genre I didn't know much about. And and I was like, you know what, whatever. Like, it was so close to the event. I was like, let's just do like a networking thing. It was like one of the best attended events I'd ever done. And so I was like, oh man,
Wow.
I got to do this. I have to listen to what other people want, which is just the time to hang out. Very easy for me. So thankfully it worked out. Low lift. And now we're doing community events. People love them. Like, it's a great chance for people to meet each other. A lot of people work together now because of that event in July. And so like now people are like, there's more of that happening. So
Wow.
yeah, so I'm coming from the opposite angle. It's less, it's not, it's equally painful, I think, of an experience. So yeah,
It's got to figure out.
the grass is
Yeah.
not greener over here. Yeah,
That's comforting to hear.
yeah.
Well, this has been sweet, Lauren. Really appreciate just getting to chat through this stuff with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, excited to see what you continue to put out there. You want to just tell people what's coming up? I mean,
Yeah.
We'll post this pretty soon,
Okay,
but
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so you can follow us on Instagram. My TikTok is a little abandoned right now, but you can follow us on TikTok as well. 2 rooms, TWOROONS, 2 underscores, 2 rooms, 2 underscores. And then we have a girls' night coming up on May 13th. 13th, yep, in Mid-City, and which we'll be doing flower arranging. It's gender neutral. Gentlemen, come make flowers for your girl or your mom or women in your life who deserve flowers. And we're also taking part in Studious Co-working's 2-year anniversary. We're doing an all acoustic programming set to honor Asian Americans because it is Asian American Heritage Month. And yeah, that's what we've got going on so far. Yeah, but yeah, get plugged in.
Sweet.
Follow us. I post a lot. I'll post about it. Stay tuned.
Looking forward to seeing there.
Yeah.
Be fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Lauren.
Thanks so much,
Appreciate
Daniel.
it.